Here with the director Mark Johnson and the producer Joe Carnahan of Playing for Change. No, I'm sorry. Playing for Change Peace Through Music.
Yes, sir.
That's right. Tell us what the doc is about.
Well, we traveled around the world with the recording equipment powered with car batteries and cameras, so we could go record musicians in Indian reservations, African villages, Tibetan monasteries, to try to show as many different musicians playing in the natural environment, as well as we make songs around the world, where we have do a version of Bob Marley's One Love, where we start in New Orleans after Katrina with a guy playing it on a dobro. Then we go to a Zulu choir in South Africa on a mountaintop, put headphones on them. They listen to the dobro, they sing on top of it. Then we go to Kathmandu, Nepal, to a tabla master, put headphones on him, he plays tablas on top of the track. So we make all these songs around the world, all these musicians that never met, to show the unifying power of music.
Wow. With car batteries.
Incredible.
Batteries. That's a heavy load, man. Wow. Joe, how did you come across this project?
You know, it's funny. I was working on another documentary. I was working on something on Fela Kuti that had literally fallen apart. And 2 weeks later, I get a call from a good friend of mine, Rand Williams, who also works in the department of my business manager. And he said, these guys want to meet you, and would you come over? And it was Mark's place in Venice, California, and I go over there and I see essentially what was the first part of the film, the first song, which is Stand By Me, and the last song of the film, which is One Love. And I just remember sitting there, I was completely transfixed. I mean, just completely blown away by the experience, and realized I thought these guys had absolute gold. Yeah. And I said, listen, anything I can do to help, phone calls, extortion, bullying, you name it. No, I'll do. I thought that this came into my kind of, my life for a reason, and I thought I should act on it. And it is. Told everybody, I think it's one of the most extraordinary kind of genuine global outreach. I mean, people talk about uniting the world and bringing the world together, and then you see it done so sublimely and so brilliantly, and I was just so taken with it.
Yeah. So One Love, between all these different musicians, how did it change? What did you find? What surprised you with that?
Yeah, that was the most amazing thing about it was, the solo in the song, for example, is a sitar player in Kathmandu playing off of a dobro player in New Orleans. You have all these different instruments that would never normally be put together, playing together. So you create this brand new sound. And, when you get so many different musicians all playing on the same track that have never met, everybody's trying to contribute just their small part, so you end up with this unbelievable arrangement.
Mark has great, too, dramatic sense as a director, because the way that is arranged and the way that the different voices come in and the African choir comes in, you really feel like, I get a lump in my throat every time I see One Love. It's really, and to me, the film has the best version of Stand By Me you'll ever hear.
You could have come by my house. My 3-year-old knows One Love, but he kind of screams it. And you could have found a way to.
You probably could have found a way to thread that in.
The Zulu choir.
Yeah. He also bangs on things a lot.
Okay.
It would have not fit. No, it wouldn't have been good.
We would have found the key for that.
Well, talk about how this film kind of relates to, the concert film. Did you watch other concert films or other films that were similar to this? I mean, what was your inspirations for just the style of the filmmaking?
Well, obviously, for me, my favorite concert film was The Last Waltz. And, just to see, and the interesting thing about The Last Waltz was all the guests. So, they had every famous musician you can imagine on that stage doing different songs with the band. And so I think that you had all these new arrangements that happened that were fresh, that nobody had heard before. And it was an amazing way to see these songs. So I think that that's the unique thing about this film, is that you see these performances in ways where you would never see them before. We have 14 Indians around a drum playing together with an African, musicians and people in Asia, and you end up with these sounds that you'd never get any other way.
How did it go on Thursday? Thursday was your big screen.
Yeah, Thursday was amazing.
Yeah.
It was incredible to come back to New York City. The whole idea for the film all came from New York City.
Oh, really? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
How did that happen? What was the first idea?
The first idea, it was about 10 years ago, and I was recording music at the Hit Factory recording studio, and I was in the subway station on the way to work. And every day I'd go in there, it was just madness, everybody's getting to work. And this one day, there were 2 monks in the subway station painted all in white with robes on, one playing a nylon guitar, the other singing, I don't know in what language. And I just saw 200 people just stop and watch this. Some people were crying, jaw drop, and it just occurred to me that, it's every race, gender, economics, everybody was uniting together for this performance. It occurred to me that in that is the way to connect the world, through music and through inspiration. So the idea was, let's go out and find as many of these moments in time to inspire the planet to come together, focus on our connections instead of all our differences.
Right. Joe, did you know many of these musicians before?
I did not, and I had the pleasure of meeting most of them. Mark put a concert together in Denver in November, and we went out and saw them play live, and it kind of culminated with Kevmo getting on stage and jamming with all of them. It was remarkable. I mean, when you have to remind yourself as you're watching the film, these people never laid eyes on one another. They've never seen each other, and to come together and to harmonize in that way, you know, it almost sounds superfluous to talk about it so much, because it almost sounds, you know, it's too good to be true. But then you see it, and it comes together, like I said, so gorgeously, and you feel it. That's what's so great about it. It's one of those moments you get watching a movie where you truly feel something deeper, and it's all good and positive. Too many times we have to offset things with, you know, the darkness and the more cynical kind of parts of life, and then you see something that's just pure form, and it's really amazing to see that, and to see these musicians kind of coalesce around this song, this single idea. You know.
Yeah, there's a great album in there. How's the movie going to get out? Are you looking for a distributor now?
We are looking, but we've been talking to a lot of people, and
good.
Yeah,
I think we're in pretty good shape.
Things are looking good.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Anything to reveal for me?
No,
for
not
Variety?
yet.
No.
You don't want to jinx it, Mike. You know.
I always look for the scoop.
Back in L.A., we'll tell you.
Back in LA. Well, what's next for you?
Well, you know, the thing about this project is we're trying to build a global movement. So we started the Playing for Change Foundation. So we're building the first Playing for Change music school in the middle of 1 million shacks down in Guguletu, South Africa.
Wow.
Right after the festival, we go there. The idea was to give back to all the musicians and the families that gave so much to us. And we started the next project, which is currently titled From Pieces to Peace. And it's all countries in conflict with one another singing songs together. Israeli and Palestinian children singing together with musicians from the Congo, Zimbabwe, and all over the world.
Then we're doing a romantic comedy with Scarlett Johansson.
Cool. Let's talk about that since we're right.
Then we're doing 2 rom-coms, and after that we don't know.